right, I got to get a riddle for you guys. What does the collapse of Enron, the Lord of the Rings movies, the Twilight series, both the books and the film, and this is a Team Jacob account, so get on out of here, Team Edward, the recession of 2008, Barack Obama making history as the first black president, the Washington Nationals, the Seattle Kraken, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Winnipeg Jets, the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series, TikTok, COVID-19, and basically your entire life wrapped up into this little thing all have in common. They all came after the last time Auburn had a 1,000-yard receiver. It's been since 1999 that a 1K pass catcher has roamed the plains of Auburn, and that might not be the case in 2024 because not only do the Tigers have Cam Coleman, who's about ready to break out, but they just secured the services of Penn State wide receiver KeAndre Lambert Smith. And so now, one of the biggest weak points of Auburn might actually end up being a strength. What's going on, SEC Unfiltered? It's Cole Thompson here. Make sure that you like the video, hit the comment section. Do you think this is the year where it all finally comes to an end? A 1,000-yard receiver resides at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And make sure you hit subscribe because we're talking SEC football every single day leading up to week 1 and all the way through the first season of the Dozen Dance College Football Playoff. Make sure that you're following us on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you see fit. All apps invented after Auburn's last 1,000-yard receiver. And make sure that you also download the podcast version of the show. Another thing that really wasn't popular back in 1999 but is popular now, at SEC Unfiltered, and for the #1 content on the internet talking about your favorite conference and mine, make sure you visit secunfiltered.com. Auburn lands Penn State standout KeAndre Lambert Smith. This is a massive win for the Tigers for a multitude of reasons, but let's start off with the first thing. Stability at an essential position. When you look at what has been missing on the Plains for years, it hasn't just been incompetent quarterback play. It hasn't just been mixed communications on defense, the right head coach at times, stellar play when it comes to the trenches. There's been a ton of things that have gone wrong for the Tigers, but not having a legit #1 wide receiver has got to be at the top of the list. What's been over 2 decades since we have seen a 1,000-yard marker reach Jordan-Hare Stadium, and that's probably going to change in the not-so-distant future. But for me, Lambert Smith offers veteranship. This is exactly what you want when it comes to stabilizing your passing attack for a young playmaker who already knows how talented he is. I think you would be hard-pressed to find somebody out there that would say Cam Coleman doesn't know what his skills can be. I think you'd be very hard-pressed to find somebody out there that says Cam Coleman doesn't understand that he is the best thing in that wide receiver room. But at the same time, this is the SEC, and it just means more wins, more opportunities for you to blow your chance and be kind of a lost figure, and more reasons to have doubt and a lot of negativity. So you don't have to worry about that now if you're Cam Coleman because a veteran's coming on in. Last season, the #1 wide receiver at Penn State finished with over 53 catches, 673 yards, 4 touchdowns in a very minuscule offense that did not enjoy passing the football, which is kind of interesting because Drew Aller is such a huge armed quarterback. You think that they would be willing to sling it around the yard. This is a guy that knows how to play that #1 wide receiver role. He's also been the #2 before, so he knows how to play the complementary role. And to me, when I look at what KeAndre Lambert Smith brings to this offense, it's not just veteranship. It's the stability to be able to add a second element to the passing attack. And you want to know where you can go ahead and add a little bit more money to your pocket? When you go visit MyBookie.com. The NFL draft is right around the corner. We also got right now the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs going on. So if you think that you know more about hockey and basketball than anybody else on the planet, make sure you visit mybookie.ag and use the promo code SECU for 100% a deposit match worth up to $1,000 with your very first deposit. So let's just say that you want to put all your money on the likes of the Denver Nuggets repeating. Go ahead, watch what happens. If you believe that LeBron James still has enough left in the tank to lead his team to the promised land, go ahead, put your money where your mouth is, and do so at mybookie.ag, the #1 resource for everything on SEC Unfiltered. Go look at the preseason odds for Auburn. Auburn finally having 2 standout wide receivers, having somebody that can change the course of a game in an instant. Visit mybookie.ag, use the promo code SECU to take 100% of a deposit match worth up to $1,000 and win a little bit of money in your pocket this evening. Auburn's landing KeAndre Lambert Smith The veteranship is one thing, but it's also now having another voice of reason in the locker room. Somebody that's been in your shoes before. Cam Coleman is knowing that he is going to be eventually the superstar and the difference maker on the Plains. Cam Coleman knows that he is probably the best thing to come through Auburn since maybe another Cam, whose last name was Newton and won a Heisman Trophy and also led your team to a national championship. But bygones be bygones on that one. The problem is that you just want to be able to have some time to grow, blossom, and thrive. And yeah, it's cool that you were on campus and that number 8 was already the number 1 target for Peyton Thorne. But to me, being able to get those games underneath your belt before you really have to take control, this is where KeAndre Lambert Smith comes in. It's something that he's going to be able to have conversations with behind closed doors. Hey, when you cut left, if you lean to the right, you're going to be able to throw a defensive back off his pathway, and it's going to open up more avenues for you to get big-time plays. Hey, this game, we know what is going on with the number 1 defensive back. Let me take him on. I'll open up double duty for you to go fly down the field for an easy 6 points. Hey, this is what I do best when I was younger to be able to adapt to playing in a major conference. Just having that vocal presence, somebody who has been in those shoes, somebody who was very hyped coming out of high school, now taking over as the number 1, massive win in my opinion. And for Auburn, this is a massive win because you don't have to be so codependent on the rushing attack. Sure, it's really great to have a guy like Jarquez Hunter. Sure, it's really great to have a mobile quarterback like Peyton Thorne. And it's really great to be able to utilize that ground game in your factor, which is exactly what I think Hugh Freeze wants. But it's also great to be able to throw defenses off their beaten path. And when you have another number 1 weapon, it provides that sustainability. I look at Auburn as a team that probably could be one of the surprise rosters of 2024. And I'm not talking about the SEC. I'm talking about in general. Would it shock you to see in year 2, with the way that this offense is going to be called and now by Hugh Freeze, get to 9 wins? Would it shock you to think that with this team and how they've played over the last few years, that they could end up being maybe a 10-win team? Would it shock you to see with what is sustainable, what's returning, and what was brought in via the portal, especially on that defensive line and now at wide receiver, this team can't be more improved, both when it comes to the run defense and when it comes to the passing attack? Probably not. And so when I look at the Tigers going into this season, it's not about sustainability just with having a long-term option as your number 1, but having a complementary piece alongside it. The Tigers, I don't know what to make of them just yet. I can see them go 7-5. I can see them go 10-2. I can see them make it to the college football playoff, and nobody should be shocked. But the bottom line is that now you're seeing the growth and development of what it takes to win via the portal and what it takes to win via the recruiting trail. Hugh Freeze absolutely crushed it with a top 10 recruiting class this past winter. Now he's going to be able to add in yet another premier playmaker in KeAndre Lambert Smith on the outside. Overall, very good fit. It feels like that this is exactly what was needed for the likes of the future of Auburn. And now you're going to go ahead and probably chalk up a few games that were coin flips, more so in favor of the Tigers. And maybe, just maybe, that old joke will finally cease to exist. Kind of like a lot of apps and other media outlets that have completely disappeared since the last time Auburn had a 1,000-yard receiver. Make sure that you like the video, hit the comment section down below. What's your overall thoughts of KeAndre Lambert Smith headed to the Plains for 2024? Make sure that you also hit the subscribe button because we're talking college football every single day leading up to week 1 and well into the regular season. Download the podcast version of the show. Follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson and follow us on social media wherever you go and have your social media apps all embedded after 1999 at SEC Unfiltered. And for the number 1 content on the internet talking about your favorite conference and mine, go visit SECUnfiltered.com. I'm Cole Thompson. Until next time, folks. Later.